What social norm has never made any sense to you? This one's exclusive to the Persian culture and it always happens between any commercial transaction. Always. Customer, how much is the total? Clerk, you can take it for free. Customer, oh no I insist. Clerk, 3.50. Trust me it gets old real fast. Having to say goodbye to everyone you know when leaving a party. I hate trying to weave my way through a crowd so I can awkwardly say bye to someone I already socialized with. We're gonna head out. Oh, okay, good to see you. Irish goodbye is the way to go. Irish goodbye. You mean you continue the conversation at the front door until the house is as cold as outside and you've said no less than 12 we must be going. Sparing someone's feeling by not telling them the truth. We'll just let them go on not knowing they have a problem and deny them the opportunity to do something about it. Pressuring people, especially women, about if or when they will have a child or another child. It's pretty inconsiderate. Well actually I had to have a hysterectomy which permanently removed my natural ability to have my own children. Ever. But thanks for asking. How are you? When my relatives ask me when I'm going to get girlfriend. Giving cards to someone you regularly see in real life. Never understood why I get given birthday cards from people who literally live in the same house as me. Just say happy birthday to my face. Happy birthday to the ground. You know how no one ever eats the last of something? Like you bring a box of chocolates to work and they all disappear with light speed, except for the last one which just sits there for days. I'm always the one to go on a rant, trying to understand the psychology behind it, only to be met with blank stares from everyone as if I'm crazy. There are different ideas. 1. Taking the last of something is selfish. 2. Leaving it for someone else is being generous and that goes in circles. 3. Most of the time, it is because they are too lazy to clean up. The idea that it's okay to ask if people are trying to have kids. You're basically asking if they're shagging like rabbits. I pointed this out to my mother-in-law once. Hilarity ensued. People who force their kids to kiss relatives. That always made me super uncomfortable, and I will not be doing that to my kid. Saying good luck to people about to do something difficult, like take a test. I think the Japanese do your best makes a lot more sense. My wife thinks there's something intrinsically male fatherly husbandly about taking out the trash, writing the rent check, and pumping the haz, even when she's the one driving. Yeah, as a woman I always pump my own haz. Listening to older co-workers be and complain about their job or personal things and not being able to tell them that you don't care. It's almost like, the older you get, the more crap you can get away with saying. It gets awkward when you are in the service industry and they are bad talking the boss or another co-worker while you are trying to serve a customer. It's totally acceptable for women to be in bikini bathing suits in public without an issue, but it's unacceptable to be seen in your bra and panties. Especially when bras and panties probably cover more area than bikinis do. Not that I have a desire to run around town only in a bra and panties, or a bikini for that matter, but that rule has always seemed weird to me. Have you noticed how disrespectful a young person is if he doesn't let an older person disrespect him? They say you should respect your elders because they have experience. Well Linda, experience says you shouldn't be in butthole. Diamond rings to express love. Total product of marketing. Convincing people that buying diamond rings is necessary for an engagement is one of the greatest marketing schemes of all times. Giving cash to someone as a birthday or Christmas present. It's literally free money, Sarah. Why the frick are you going to be about a 50? The Chinese solved this with their red envelope thing. Looking down on the working class. A good number of the people who work in restaurants, retail have degrees or are working towards them. They choose to do this work because they enjoy it and it fits where they are in life. Also includes a lot of construction, driving, welding, etc. workers. I've met guys who can look at a hole and tell you exactly how much dirt you need to fill it without any or only basic measurements. Welders who can multiply huge numbers in their head and tell you exactly how to build something so it will work right and last almost forever. Truck drivers with masters in history or policy who can endlessly debate history or today's economy. Not everyone is built to be behind a desk, not everyone does well in traditional schools, but that definitely doesn't mean that they aren't smart or good at what they do, and that what they do isn't an important job. We say taking a crap, but we are clearly leaving one when crapping. Well, now I'm gonna say BRB gotta leave a crap. Treating customer service representatives like crap. People subscribe to sayings like, the customer is always right and the customer always takes that as an invite to treat another person as subhuman. Hardly anybody intervenes in these situations, and managers rarely do anything either. Not going to the cinema by yourself. If I'm going to sit in silence in a dark room while looking forward, why do I need other people there? It's not a particularly social activity. I have been doing this lately. It's awesome. No one talks and I can watch whatever I want. Knocking on the GD store door while I'm crapping. Yes. Hello? Come in. You tried the door and it was locked. It's not a house. Summer's crapping in there. True, but once I passed out on the toilet at a club and someone knocked because I was probably in there a while. I woke up, got out of there and into a cab, and was home by 2:30, safely in my own bed. If it wasn't for the knock, I might still be in there to this day. Making high school students make super important decisions that will basically define their entire future when just a few months ago they had to ask to use the restroom. Eating certain foods only at certain times of day. Frankly, I don't want to live in a world where 7:30 AM is a bad time for pie, and I don't want to associate with those who believe otherwise. I don't need that kind of negative energy in my life. If I eat at a restaurant and it serves breakfast 24/7, I order breakfast 100% of the time. My family is baffled by this. Spending a crap ton of money on a wedding. Like, what's the point of blowing your savings on something that you could use for better or more fun purposes? Take a nice vacation or put it towards retirement or a hobby. Like, I get you want to have a nice wedding, but in reality the only people who are really going to care are you, your spouse and your parents. I've never heard of someone saying, do you remember so and so's wedding? The platter choice was so good and the place they rented was grand. Just doesn't make sense to me. Dude, you haven't seen Indian weddings yet. The amount of money spent is just forced small talk. No elbows on the table. It feels like this one is starting to go away. I'm 25 and I hear about it a lot less, and people seem to care a lot less than when I was a kid. Buying a puppy to take care of, and just locking them outside for the rest of their life because it gets hair everywhere. I feel like this should be way higher up the list. I feel so guilty when my dog only gets one walk in a day and I can see a difference in her behavior when she is well exercised. It's done a lot of good for me, too. Having pet hair on all the things is totally worth all the puppy and kitty snuggles. Business wear at work when it's not really required. I work in a back room. No one comes to see me and I can work remotely. Who cares how I dress? Full business attire at a call center I used to work at. Sitting in a stuffy call center sweating in a suit was bizarre. How are you doing? Give zero fricks what the real answer is. Great, has zero chance of telling you the real answer. Dancing. Stop trying to get me to dance. I don't dance. Just let your body move naturally. My body naturally wants to move off the dance floor. Hey, how are you? I'm doing great, thanks. And you? Is dying internally. Smiling when there's no reason to. People constantly tell me I should smile more, but I smile as a reaction, not by default. Smiling by default seems creepy to me. I am the same way. People tell me all the time to smile more, but I feel that when I force a smile you can tell, making it look fake and creepy. Forcing to smile makes me uncomfortable. Judges in costumes. At concerts. Musician. How are you guys doing tonight? Crowd. WHOOO. I'm okay. Ties. I find it odd how dangling a strip of cloth off your neck suddenly makes you more presentable. Start drinking alcohol the day you hit 21, legally, at least. As far as I'm concerned, drinking is a hobby. Not everyone has to like every hobby, but apparently I need to explain to people why I don't drink if it comes up because it's so outlandish that I may as well be telling people I enjoy taxidermy with the roadkill I bait onto the road and hit myself. For real, mate. Or why I don't like parties or bars. For you internet strangers, family members drinking and I like to be able to control myself. That's the reason. And usually at those places, they are not my kind of people. Here's a social norm that makes sense. Everybody gets sick. We all understand that illness happens. Sometimes it's short term, sometimes it's long term. It can happen at any time. And we should extend extra care to those who are sick so they may recover faster. What I'm about to say is extremely controversial to some. Everyone experiences mental illness. We should all understand that mental illness happens. Sometimes it's short term, sometimes it's long term. It can happen at any time. And we should extend extra care to those who are sick so they may recover faster. The social norm that has never made sense to me is how mental illness is treated. We are extremely hesitant to consider people to have mental illness, likely due to how we still perceive the mentally ill as inherently dangerous. The result, however, is that many people who actually are dangerous may never receive treatment and continue to be harmful to themselves and or others. And yet others suffer from a lack of focus and or coverage of mental health as a ever-present health issue. You go to the dentist twice a year, or at least you're supposed to. How come compulsory psych evals don't happen once or twice a year? Imagine how much suffering that could eliminate by catching potential violence instigators before they act out, or how many instances of domestic abuse could be uncovered by encouraging victims to speak to a trained professional on a semi-regular schedule, a proactive mental health stance, instead of a delayed and reactive one. Edit. Oh heck, this comment blew up. Thanks for golden kind words. A lot of people cried foul over the use of the word compulsory and I admit that it was a poor choice of wording. What I meant was part of your routine annual health plan. Be it health insurance or national coverage, I strongly believe that people's health plan should cover and encourage twice annual mental health checks. Obviously, there's a lot of reform that must be done to ensure there are enough doctors and so it doesn't become another source of over-medicating the populace for drug companies' sake. But it's entirely possible to do with strong leadership. That men are expected to ask women for dates. But there's no expectation of the opposite. Even if I say no, it'd at least be nice to know someone was interested without having to take the chance myself every time. Women needing to be ashamed of or hide the fact that they have periods. Like, we all know they happen. They're perfectly normal human bodily functions. Yet for some reason saying I have my period is way more taboo than saying I need to pee. It's just never made sense to me. Although, there is some stigma associated with the concept of PMS. A woman mentions she has her period. All of a sudden every jackhole who disagrees with her about something is saying oh you're just PMSing. Giving your 2 weeks notice. They don't give you 2 weeks notice when they fire you. Giving gift cards instead of money. A gift card is just restricted money. The way I see this, when somebody gives me cash or a check, I immediately feel obligated to save it. If you give me a gift card, I don't feel bad spending it on frivolous things for myself. If you give me cash, I'm paying tuition. Give me a gift card and I'll buy something I actually enjoy. Pee away such a large portion of our lives to make money so that we can buy stuff that we don't need. How everyone seems to assume that being in a relationship is the way to happiness. I have seen questioning looks especially in the office when I say that I'm not in one and that I'm not looking for someone. This is especially true for us, women. When you reach a certain age and you're still single, there's this immediate thinking that you're probably miserable. And the more you try and tell people that you're happy, the more they think you're putting on a brave face or some crap. It's beyond annoying. Facebook. Texting, making plans and then never following through with them. Freaking flaky people are the worst, man, I'm with you. The expectation that you'll just get married and have kids. Listen, if you want that, more power to you. But I didn't ask to be born. Why should I be required to do something that doesn't look fun at all just because everyone else does? Like this video and this good will play you a nice song. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.